All right, hello again and welcome back. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and this is a video in our series on MIT's App Inventor 2 that we're doing for the Rankin Technical College Summer Adventure Academy. We're on to our sixth. For the sixth app, we're going to modify this fifth app that we've been working on. Now, I'm going to just jump right into the blocks editor and talk about a few things that are in here. Such as, well, I mentioned before that when the program runs, when the program begins, there's not a random number that's been generated. We can change that. Well, we haven't really clicked on screen before, but notice the screen's got an initialize routine. Now, what we could do if we wanted to is when we initialize, all right, when we start, we could, just like we did here, I can expand this, and I could do all this stuff that's done right here. So I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. Except when you think about it, what I'm doing here, let me minimize this. I've now duplicated the same code. It's in there twice, which is kind of a silly thing to do. And if you look over here, I've got a thing that says procedures. So I'm going to click on procedures, and I'm going to bring this first one, I'm going to bring that over to here. Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to highlight, or basically move all of that stuff over to here. And I'm going to call this procedure right here generate random number. No spaces or anything in there. But it's now generate random number. Now I can say when you click that particular thing right there, now I can just tell it to come in here and basically come in and call a procedure. All right. So now what I'm saying is whenever that button is clicked, call that procedure, which will do all of this. In the same way, I can go back now to my screen 1 initialize routine, and I can do the same thing. Hopefully, taking a quick look right there, what you're seeing is, it's much easier when you've got code that repeats to write it once and call it on multiple or from multiple places, which is what I did. Now I'm going to run this again just to verify that nothing has changed, because nothing should have changed. We're still writing and using the same code. I'm going to jump back into my designer, go back here, bring this back up again. But notice now, in fact, what I'll do is I'm going to do a connect, reset connection, and connect, and I'm going to restart the emulator. And you might say, why are you doing that, Jeff? I want to make sure that when I bring this up, previously when we brought this up, we didn't have a number in. But now remember that as soon as the screen initializes, we're going to have a number, a random number that we've already created. Why? Because we called from the screen initialize, we called our generate random number procedure. When we get done, and we get done testing this and hopefully verifying that it works, we're going to go back and we're going to take that big if block that we had, and we're going to rewrite that as a procedure also. Now, one thing, just so you know this, when people start writing their own code and they start actually putting in their own logic, not everyone is going to agree every time with the way that people implement their logic. The more complex the program, the more logic, of course, you have to put into it. And it's just as if I said to you, let's meet tomorrow down at the Rankin St. Louis campus. It says that it's not responding. Well, that isn't good. And if I said, let's meet tomorrow and let's meet at the Rankin campus in St. Louis, and let's say that one of you is coming from Wentzville and one of you is coming from O'Fallon, etc. There's no guarantee that you're all going to go down there in exactly the same way. The bottom line is, could you make it to the Rankin St. Louis campus? Not exactly how did you get there. Okay? I'm hoping that it comes back up after this. I don't like the fact that it says starting it might take a minute or two and it hasn't started yet. In the worst case scenario, if the emulator refuses to come up, which I hope doesn't happen, but if it does, I'm only 7 minutes in here, but I will create yet another part of this video. This is looking much better. So again, once this comes up and we run it, the big change is I'm going to click the make a guess or whatever we called it, that button, without putting anything in there. All right? And we should still get an error or a message that comes in that says something like you must enter input or whatever we put in there. All right? Hoping that that's going to go away in a minute. But the point is, we now will have a random number actually that has been generated. All right? Yeah, we are getting the error. So let's do this. Let's do this. I'm just going to click, in fact, let's just stop the emulator. Click OK there. All right, I'm going to put in the rest of the code. Then I'm going to restart the computer and we'll finish up that way. All right? You may or may not have noticed, but when we created procedures here, there's two kinds. There is a procedure and then there's a procedure with a result. The difference is the result actually does return something. All right, and if that doesn't make sense to you, please bear with me just for a minute, if you would. So let's take this and let's collapse this block, and let's collapse this block, and let's collapse this block. All right, now I'm going to move this, and I'm going to grab everything that I have over here and drag it way, way over. All right, now let's expand this block. Now that's pretty big right now. Okay? I'm going to make a bunch of changes to this. The first thing I want to do is I want to, like I said, we're going to create another routine, another procedure, which is going to return something. And we're going to call this check guess. All right? And it's going to look a little strange for a minute, but I'm going to grab everything that we have here, and I'm going to throw it into check guess. Don't worry, it looks like it's not going to fit in there. It will in a minute. All right. What I want to do is I want to set our result equal to check yes. All right, so this check yes, okay, this is going to look a little different. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I should be able to put an if block in here. I don't know why I couldn't. But it doesn't like that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out a way to do this that is going to have me add as little bit of code as possible, where I'm not doing duplication of code. But it's not letting me put an if in there. I'm going to stop right now and check on my own logic, because I'm rewriting this. I have a thing that I wrote already, but I didn't like it. Basically, I just replicated this one. So I could, if I wanted to, okay, I could have come in here and removed this and just had a regular procedure and then just grabbed everything that's there and throw that in. And that would work. It does work. All right, and it looks like I've got a warning and an error. Well, I think that might be from that. So when you click this, then this is just going to change to that procedure, call that procedure, which we would change this to check yes. Okay? I'm going to start with that in just a couple minutes to show you that that still works. Then I'm going to see if I can make some changes to it to pretty it up or whatever you'd like to call it. So I'll be back with the next part of this in just a moment.